Welcome to English with Abby and Torai. I'm Abby, and today we will talk about an advanced skill in English, and this is asking polite questions. Asking polite questions. Using phrases at the beginning of questions that makes it more polite. You ask it in a softer, kinder, less direct way. Asking polite questions in English is all about being more indirect as opposed to direct. So, these are some sentence stems I have here of how you can start polite questions. And these really fit any type of question you might ask another person. When you would ask polite questions would be in a more professional or formal setting. So if you're wondering more about how do I use more business or professional or formal English, this would be very helpful for you, specifically with questions, because we don't want to be too direct as to be off-putting or come across as being too direct or aggressive. Polite questions are a good way of being indirect, but also getting the information that you want or need. So the first sentence stem is, could you tell me? Could you tell me? This, I have an example here, but this almost sounds like a yes or no question. But when you ask a native speaker this question, they're not going to answer with just yes or no. They're not going to say, yeah, I could. They're going to say, yes, it's over there. Yes, they're going to say yes and then answer your question. Or maybe they say, no, sorry, I don't know the answer to that. So, could you tell me? The next one, would you mind? Would you mind? And this one is when you need to ask someone to do something for you. Would you mind helping me move? Would you mind handing me that piece of paper? Just like within a quick conversation you have with another person, you could say, would you mind coming over later and helping me with something? Usually you use would you mind when you need help from someone, you need someone to do something for you or maybe do something with you. You would ask them in this way, would you mind? And then they might say, yes, I do mind. I cannot do that. Or no, I don't mind. I can come over and help you later. Or even if you're just in a, like sitting at a table with someone else in a business setting and you say, oh, would you mind handing me that piece of paper? Or even at the dinner table saying, would you mind handing me a napkin, please? Would you mind getting me a fork? And then they would get up and do that for you. So it's asking someone to do something for you or with you in a less direct way. Especially not saying it in a command like, hand me that fork or come help me move. That is very direct. And would you mind makes it softer and less direct, more indirect. Okay, next, do you know? Do you know? And then you would ask someone if they know this piece of information that you are looking for. Do you know? And then you would ask them. And then finally, I was wondering if, this one you add on at the beginning, again, to make something less direct, something more formal, a little bit kinder even. I was wondering if, and we use the past progressive, I was wondering, because it's something you were wondering in the past. And then you're asking this person, I was wondering if. Okay, so now I have some examples. First, using could you tell me? Could you tell me where the station is? Could you tell me where the station is? Could you tell me? Again, sounds like it's a beginning of a yes or no question, but the person is not going to just say yes or no. Could you tell me where the station is? Yeah, it's down the street and to the right. Oh yeah, it's right over there. You'll see it when you walk up the street. Could you tell me where the station is? Something else you'll notice in this question, could you tell me where the station is? If this first part, could you tell me, was not a part of the question, and you just said where the station is, you notice it's phrased as a statement and not as a question. If this just started with where, we would ask, where is the station? Where is the station? But with could you tell me where the station is, it's phrased as a statement when used with this beginning sentence stem. Could you tell me where the station is? If you used do you know, then we would phrase it as a question. Do you know where this, actually no, where do you know where the station is? Or would you know where the station is? Yeah, it would still be phrased as a statement. Do you know where the station is? Or even I was wondering where the station is. All phrased as statements. Even, would you mind telling me where the station is? Would you mind telling me where the station is? And so each of those, the ending question is phrased as a statement and not actually as a question. Could you tell me where the station is? The next one, do you know what time the meeting starts? Do you know what time the meeting starts? And then someone would say, yeah, it starts in 5 minutes. Or, no, sorry, I'm not sure what time the meeting starts. When you ask a question in this way, in a more professional, polite way, people will also respond back to you in a professional and polite way. So if you ask them and they don't know, they'll say, no, sorry, I'm not actually sure. They might tell you who you could ask. Say, oh, you might ask this person over here. They might know. The final example, I was wondering if you could help me. I was wondering if you could help me. And then you could add on, I was wondering if you could help me with my homework. I was wondering if you could help me with dinner. I was wondering if you could help me find the bus, and so on. You will notice this one is actually not asked as a question. It is a statement. That is why it ends in a period and not a question mark. It is a statement. I was wondering if you could help me. It is not a question, but the person will respond to you as if it is a question. Yes, I can help you. What do you need? Or, yeah, I know where the bus is. It's around the corner and 3 blocks over. So it's not phrased as a question and it's not technically asked as a question, but the person will respond to you as if it is a question. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you in understanding polite questions, specifically questions and ways to ask things in a professional business setting where you want something to be less direct. This is how we ask polite questions, not in a direct way, but in an indirect way. So if this was helpful for you, please like and share and comment with your own questions or creation of question that you have in this polite way, and we will respond in the comments below.